for what took place. It is up to you then to correctly prioritize those options from most to least or least to most, just, so long as you know which one you mean and it's the same one as I mean, then we're good. So, all right, do we understand how the blame game works? I hope so. I think so. And let's get it underway. So, here on our first ever issue of, well, not issue, but our first ever crack at the blame game. This is a special Vikings blame game segment. Your four reasons, four most significant, inarguable, contributing factors to the Vikings' loss. That's right, there are four, and they are not all named Blair Walsh, Blair Walsh, Blair Walsh, and Blair Walsh. Okay? I will break it down. I will explain what the four parts are to you, as they encompass more than one player or more than one error, from many times on many occasions here. So here are your options. I'll give you, after I explain them all to you, I'll give you a few moments to come up in your head. Okay, that was the biggest reason, that was the second biggest reason, the third biggest reason, and the fourth biggest reason that we lost. All of these were big, significant reasons that we lost. Okay? We're going to see if we can both properly determine. Well, I've already properly determined, according to me. But we'll see if you can do it. All right. So, our four pieces here to this puzzle are as follows, in no particular order. Okay. First off, of course, let's just start with it. Let's get it out of the way. We're going to refer to it as the kick. The left hash mark into the sun, where everybody's squinting, you can barely even see what's going on. The good snap, the terrible hold, laces in, ball slanted. The kick that starts out outside and then hooks just a little even more outside from 27 yards. Say no matter what, if it's a watermelon, you gotta make it. The kick, okay? Blair Walsh missing a 27-yarder with the laces in. Jeff Locke completely having a bad hold. I don't care what Blair Walsh says. What is Blair Walsh supposed to say? Of course he said the snap was good and the hold was good, I just missed it. He's still got to be a good teammate, and he's trying to be a good human being. What good? The only way he could make it worse at this point is if he were to say, well, didn't you see it was a bad hold, the laces were in? And blame it on that, which he very much could. That's the only way he could make things any worse. So, of course, he's going to say that he should have made it, it was a good hold. Just because he says that doesn't mean he's right. That doesn't make it true, okay? And in this case, he's not. The hold greatly increased. Well, I shouldn't say greatly, but the hold definitely increased the degree of difficulty on that kick, and it should have been an easy kick. The hash mark, kicking from the left hash mark, knowing how Blair Walsh kicks, was also made it harder than it had to be. And finally, the weather conditions. When you incorporate the cold weather, what that did to the turf and the footing, and also watch that replay seriously. Like, all you see is blinding light from the setting sun on that side of the stadium that he's kicking the football into the whole time. So there were plenty, just about every aspect, other than a bad snap, just about every aspect, of making this what should be super easy kick, harder than it has to be, took place pretty much. So candidate number one is the kick, okay, for the blame game. One of the four most significant reasons to the outcome, but where exactly does it rank? Another one, we will refer to this as the play, all right? The play, as I mentioned earlier, involved Captain Munnerlyn whiffing big time on what should have been a loss of 10 to 20 yards with a 9-0 lead, where instead he gave Russell Wilson an escape path to go get the ball, make a huge pass and get the ball all the way down to like the 6-yard line, where they would then score 2 plays later, I believe. That play involved Captain Munnerlyn, as I said, but it also involved Josh Robinson completely letting the guy that he was covering go. Like, he just pushed him and let him run away. And it was like, if you're in coverage there, that was a man coverage. Like, it was definitely not a zone. There was no one to pass him off to, you know. Not sure why you quit covering him. Like, the quarterback's just scrambling. It's not like he has to run with the football, which is almost like how Robinson responded. So he had huge error on that part too. And then Xavier Rhodes actually had small error on that play as well. He could have very easily, he was in position to make the tackle on Mr. Lockett around like the 20-25 yard line of that play, but instead completely missed and allowed him to get inside the 10, you know. So we'll call that as the play. All right. Then our other candidates are flat out chance, luck, the football gods, the Seattle Seahawks god, you know, however you want to think of it. All of the intangible X factor stuff, such as, you know, getting a bad hold on a game-winning kick, you know, having the sun in your face, having bad turf the whole game, having all this cold weather, having the refs still put out a, you know, -5 performance where ultimately you're getting more screwed over than the other team by far throughout the game, you know, just the Vikings being the Vikings, you know, chance. So we're going to call it chance, okay? Like, it just, things happen, you know, along with all those other, like I said, intangibles, X factors. And then the final one we'll bring up here would be basically, you know, it comes down to a play that includes all of the offense's collective efforts as well. So this is, you know, very inclusive, but we'll refer to this one as the fumble. Now, the fumble concludes with AP's fumble in the fourth quarter, but it started with the offensive coordinator not calling a good game upon further review of the game film, which led to the offensive line getting beat both schematically and, you know, straight man up in those situations, which, you know, didn't allow Teddy to have much of an impact on the game. Teddy missed a very easy elementary, like, junior high football frickin' touchdown read and pass on the second possession of the game in the first quarter that would have given us a 7-0 lead to start the game instead of a 3-0 lead. And then, like I said, concluding with AP's fumble. So basically, the fumble is what we will call it, but it really is all the offense's shortcomings, both as a coordinating, you know, the coordinator play calling, the offensive line blocking, Teddy missing a huge scoring opportunity or two, and then AP, you know, losing the football in a must protect the ball situation in the game. So those are your 4 candidates, okay? Chance, the kick, the fumble, or the play. All right, so now we've broken it all down. I'm going to give you 30 seconds here to order your final 4 choices here. Who's to blame the most for the Vikings' loss, and which of the 4 significant reasons we lost. These are the 4 reasons we lost, okay, in a nutshell. Some combined with others. But these are the 4 reasons we lost. Order them. Least significant to most significant. And your 4 options are the kick, the fumble, chance, and the play, being the Russell Wilson scramble pass to Tyler Lockett. Ready, set, go. Do 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 bum ba da ba da ba do 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 da da bum ba ba dun 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 win win. Now you're probably thinking that was really off, really terrible. due to copyright infringements, I actually intentionally was changing that melody so that I don't get sued by Mr. Trebek and his Greasy Diego mustache a second time. Alright, so now that you've had time to think about it, what did I say about ethnic slurs? Alright, now that you've had time to think about it, here we go. I reveal the answers for our first ever installment of the Blame Game here on Balls Deep Sports Talk. Of the 4 choices, your least significant contributing factor was chance. That is right. The just happening to, the sun, the weather, the refs, luck, ball bouncing, just history, culture, that type of thing. That did have an impact on the game and the result, but it is the least significant of the 4 that we pulled out. So now we are left with, what's number 3? The third, and a lot of people pick this number 1 or 2, okay? This is where it gets interesting, okay? The third most blame for the Vikings loss goes to the fumble. The AP fumble. Teddy's missed touchdown pass. Norv Turner's questionable at best play calling throughout the game. The offensive line getting their butt handed to them by Michael Bennett over and over. That was the third. That bears the third most blame for the loss. So we're down to our final 2. It's the play and the kick. Steve Harvey is not going to read this because I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want him to tell you the one that's really the runner-up when it's, this is first place. Oh, no, wait, this is actually second place. No. In second place, the second most significant, thing to the outcome of the game, the second largest amount of blame falls on the kick. Now, as we've mentioned, the kick this is not to say Blair Walsh, okay? Blair Walsh is still your offensive MVP of the game, looking through the game film. This game was won by defense, period. When you say we had it won, it was won by defense and the foot of Blair Walsh. Blair Walsh did not blow a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter. That was the defense. And a turnover on offense, But the defense still didn't get worked, they didn't get a bunch of plays given up on them. They had a big play and then a closer, and then they had great field position. Did nothing with it. Well, kicked the field goal. That's it. It wasn't like all of a sudden our defense gave up a ton of points by playing bad, but they still made, key big mistakes. But so ultimately, second most blame goes to the kick. It's on Blair Walsh. It's on Locke. A lot of the blame for that kick should be on Locke. There is no excuse to just put that ball on the ground with it slanted way too much and the laces in. It was the second time the laces were in. First time he was able to overcome it. But let's put it this way, okay? Long story short, if you were a moron who thinks that the laces do not matter, they do matter. If they didn't matter, they wouldn't put them on the ball. If they didn't matter, why does the quarterback have his fingers on him every time he throws it? If they don't matter, how come every time a kicker goes to place a ball on the tee, for a kickoff, the laces are facing out every time? Unless it's an onside kick or a squib kick. Then you might see the laces in. How come that is? Because it matters. If you want proof, I have a simple test for you. Go grab a football, alright? Take a football. Make sure it's inflated fairly properly. You know how it's supposed to be. Don't have Tom Brady or anyone from the Patriots do it. And then just conduct a very simple experiment. Drop the ball on any of the flat surfaces of the ball. A couple times, 2, 3, 4 times. And just, watch how it responds, how it bounces. Now take that ball and drop it on its laces. 2, 3, 4 times. See how the ball responds. It is going to bounce in a different way on the laces every time. It's going to be completely unpredictable. Any of the smooth surfaces, it'll bounce slightly different, but it'll be fairly predictable. So it does matter. It has an effect. To say it's the sole reason, absolutely not. To say that Blair couldn't have still made it anyway, absolutely.